Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. My name is Talia Joy. How are you doing today? Okay, I'm chuckling because basically the second I hit record, I don't know if it's like a dump truck, a cement truck, something is coming down my road. I don't know. It's like hovering around my neighbors. And so if you can hear that, we are going to continue to move on with the show. Maybe you can't even hear it, but it was just, oh yeah, there's the backup lights. I just started chuckling because I'm like, get in my space, get in my vibe, hit record, and big dump truck. What is that? It's like a water, cement, I don't know. Okay, we're moving on. Hello, welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so excited that you are here today. Welcome back to the show. Why is it even so funny? Okay, if you are new here or if this is one of the first times you're tuning in, welcome. My name is Talia Joy. This is my cozy, unpolished corner of the internet, and I am so excited you're here. We go deep on this show. We dive into all things awakening and personal development and manifestation. Okay, I don't even know. I'm so sorry. We will get to it in just a second. Now there's like several heavy machinery vehicles coming down the road right in front of my house. And like, you know, those ones with the scoop on the front? I don't even know what it's doing, but there they are. This is so funny. What I'm saying here, focus Talia, we are back. What we do here is we go deep into self-development, awakening, manifestation, healing, and everything that you are moving through on this transformation journey, because I know you're here for big things. I know, probably like me, you've been through a lot in your life and you've had a lot to overcome. And here you are. I see you. Welcome back. Welcome here. And before we get into the episode, I do want to check in. How are you doing? How are you actually doing? Are you hydrated? Are you well rested? Are you well slept? How's it going? We're checking in because every day it's a little bit different, right? Some days we're on cloud nine. Some days are heavy and damp and weird and crunchy, and we have space for all of the days. However you're dropping in, you are absolutely welcome here, and I'm so excited that you are here. And this is something that is just so important, and it's something truly we all need to hear. If you're here for that self-growth transformation, if you're a seeker on the path, we really do need to know this, be aware of it, practice it. And so when we talk about rooting to rise, it is, most of the equation, to be honest. And in a world that loves to talk about the ascension and the growth and the next level, and even myself, right, with the quantum leaps and all the stuff, if we're not talking about what it takes to truly expand and sustain, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. And that was my path for a long time. I'm an eager seeker, and being a channel and obsessed with manifestation, it was always big. And I know of possibilities and all this stuff, but I was ignoring the human. I was ignoring the nervous system. And when I started doing the grounding, healing, safety, security root work, that was when the deeper shift occurred. So while we're just focused on growing tall, we can, do things and make moves and have successes and even create some more money or whatever. But it's about sustainability. It's about being able to it's about not just crashing and burning or going full tilt, but in something that is so not sustainable for your life. If you're sacrificing your sleep, your mental wellness, right? Your integrity, whatever it is, we can't sacrifice to have the type of success that you and I are meant for. So we're going to get into all of this, but we're going to explore ground down to rise up, and how we can't bypass that foundational work, because the deeper the roots, the higher we rise. And I'm coming in with some tree metaphors in this episode. I have to. But truly, right? We see it in nature. The deeper the roots, the more steady. Think of yoga when you're, or a pose where your feet are hip width apart or wider, you become more steady, more sturdy than if you're really narrow, right? So no matter how you look at it, when you are here for big things, when you are here for impact and wealth and healing and embodiment and transformation, as I know you are, then you're also here simultaneously for deep grounding, for safety. So it's not just the sexy high vibe energy all the time. And it's not just about like the bling bling and the cash and the out there. It's the ability to be anchored in yourself no matter what. And this is the conversation that we're having. It's like a conversation behind the conversation. So I'm really excited that you're here. If you're ready, I'm ready. I want to give you an FYI as we move into opening up the doors for the, oh my goodness, I'm saying it, the retreat that is happening in September 2025 in person here on a little island off Vancouver Island. It's going to be so nourishing, so healing. We've been collecting the list, and no matter when you listen to this, it might be a few weeks in the future or whatever, it's going to be the same link where you can get on the list to really be on the inside of all the information and first, chance at tickets and all of that stuff. Or if you're listening to it in the future, it'll be the link to register to see all the information and to jump in. So if you'd like to meet in person, talk about route to rise, oh my goodness, it's going to be so powerful. I would love to share the space with you. It is so sacred and so special. So I'll just put the link below. I'll leave that there for you. And let's dive into today's episode. Grab a sip of your water, drop your shoulders, and let's do this. Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm so excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life. My name is Talia Joy, and I am committed to showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to go on a magical journey of spiritual and self-growth to manifest the life you're meant for, we are now besties. Let's dive in. Okay, so I've lived this so many times in my own journey where there's been seasons where I'm calling in big things, big income, big expansion, clarity, right? But still feeling energetically scattered, feeling overwhelmed, feeling pulled in 19 directions. It was like I'm leaping forward without anchoring in. And I can see that so many times, even in my business, like really high cash months or things that were really successful. But then behind the scenes, toward the end, I'm burning out or I'm feeling disempowered. I'm feeling like, I've got all this stuff and then I'm also a mom and I'm also doing this and that. And it didn't feel sustainable. There are times when I've become, I would maybe look healthier or lose some weight or something, but behind the scenes, it's because I'm stressed or because, even in my eating disorder times, many moons ago, I would lose weight, but it's coming from a completely scattered, disoriented, and not sustainable place. So sometimes we can call in things, but again, it's not sustainable. The reason I'm saying that word so many times, I recently heard somebody describe sustainable as, it was in respect to a business, but it said when you are building something that is not causing other problems behind the scenes. So you've got something going that's not also causing other problems. That's what makes it sustainable. So when we think of our self-growth journey or manifestation or success or health, we want it to be sustainable. Because in the long run, that's what's going to get us there anyway. And it's a deeply rooted way of moving forward, of achieving goals. So if we don't leap forward if we do leap forward without anchoring it in, we somehow flop. And I think of flopping over like a tree that doesn't have the roots to bring it in, right? Tree metaphor number one. You can keep account. If it was like a drinking game, like if you drank every time I said like a nature metaphor, you'd be hammered. Okay. So I personally had to learn again and again that if I'm meant to go bigger, I have to go deeper. And to be straight up, I had just ignored it for so long. I did not know. I would hear nervous system and trauma healing, and I would hear this stuff and I'm like, I'm just going to manifest. And all that big quantum energy is so great. But again, when it's not balanced with the deeper part, it will not be sustainable. And I see this in my clients, super ready to rise. And we're working on businesses and we're working on what they're doing. But also at the same time, things about self-trust are coming up. Things about believing in themselves, things about nervous system safety and healing, because we need that work as we're rising big. So sometimes, often, we're not blocked, we're being prepared for what's next. And that is truly how I see this life experience, is ultimately we are not ever messing up, or the chips aren't stacked against us eternally. We're being prepared for, pardon my French, what the fuck we're meant for. And you are meant for big things. So my love, that requires big roots. So let's do this. Okay, that was tree metaphor number 2. Okay, I won't count every time. But when we think of a tree, it cannot grow tall, as I was saying, without deep, strong roots. And I think of resilient trees and plants. I think of the palm tree. I think of bamboo, right? And bamboo, from what I know, I don't know, I'm not like a plant expert, but has like spidery tons of webbing as roots. So it is so strong. It's like grass. It's like you don't just pluck out the one root like a dandelion. It's like a web of roots to be so strong. Or a palm tree, I'm not 100%, but I know our big cedar trees here where I live and stuff like that have big, intricate root systems that span out really far. They're really fat and big and probably, peter off into smaller roots, but it's about this spread and the deep and how strong it is at the base. So whatever type of roots it is, that rooting is essential when we are going to be resilient, when we are going to continue to grow. So you may want more clients or wealth or love or freedom, but we need the roots to support that expansion. I just want to say right here, if you're all about this, like, yes, I get it. On the path this month, our focus is called Rooted and Rich, because we are experiencing that, what it means to be truly grounded and rooted while welcoming in that abundance, that wealth, the richness of life. So we're going to talk about money, but also true abundance, true wealth, safety, security. It's just so good. So if you've been wanting to join, it's a great time to do that. We are having a whole month devoted to Rooted and Rich. And so I'll just leave that link below. So we're back to the tree analogy, right? And if we want all of these things, if we are here for a life of big transformation, and you picture your branches spanning out and wide, we need those intricate roots, or those big fat roots or whatever, to support that expansion. And what that means physically in, real human language, we need to find safety in our body, which is the nervous system. That comes from healing work, that comes from somatic practices, that comes from being in tune and in touch with your body. So we need to find safety in our body. I really suggest grounding rituals that bring you back to your center. We need support and systems and habits that stabilize our nervous system. So we're doing, hand on heart, we're doing, again, somatic practices, maybe meditation, going out in nature, having habits, having practices that ground us, that root us, while building a life that holds us, not overwhelms us, while building and crafting this experience for a truly supportive life. So we have to root down physically to feel safe, to feel secure, doing that healing work to be more confident, to be more assured, to be more, I'm picturing like grounded and steady in who you are. And as we root down, we become so much more resilient when life lifes us in the face, as I like to say. It's going to throw us unexpected bills or stuff that pops up, and roadblocks, and times we sabotage, and times where that person betrays our trust or something happens. And we want to be like the bamboo, like the palm tree. And a bamboo plant can grow, the huge ones are like up to 100 feet tall, like not even joking. But it doesn't do that without years spent growing those root systems. So you have been being prepared your whole life for this. And as I move through time myself, I really noticed that some of us spend even half of our life, our whole life we're going to be growing and healing and developing, and it never stops. But we spend like the first quarter, the first half, maybe even more of our life healing and reconciling and figuring out, who am I? What do I want to be doing? What's important to me? We're doing that deep root work. We're healing. We're moving through our programming and our childhoods and everything we've been through. And that is the roots. Those are the roots. So you're not starting right now going, oh, you need to start growing roots from day one. You've been doing that. You have been creating the resilience. You have been learning how to pour back into yourself and how to move forward. And again, what's important to you and all these things. So you're not starting from ground zero. You are absolutely not a day oneer, or you would not be here. So taking all of that growth you've already experienced and really integrating it, really planting it, and also doing the nervous system work to find safety and security in your body. Those are just things I really recommend. So if we don't want to topple, if we don't want to be one of those plants that shoots up but has no, what do you want to call it? Girth? I don't want to say girth. I don't want to say that in public. Roundness. If it shoots up but it's not big enough to sustain itself, then you know that if it's like a sunflower or something, especially sunflowers, because the head gets so big that it just won't sustain itself. So if we want to create success, abundance, health that is sustainable, we need to have those roots, right? So I know that some people in the community, a lot of us wonder in areas of our life, like, why hasn't this thing taken off yet? Or why haven't I mastered this, right? And it's not ever that your success hasn't stuck or that the things you've learned, like we often think like that one program was going to change me, or I read that one book, and then our energy dips and the doubt comes back in and the burnout comes back in and we're like, why aren't I doing it, right? I promise if you see yourself in that, that's me too. This is part of the learning. This is part of the deeper roots, asking you to go deeper, asking you to build a life that sustains you. Integrating, taking a deep breath into your day, being kind to yourself, loving to yourself, rooting down to rise up. And it's not that you're not ready. It's that your soul has known that you've needed deeper roots first. But you are ready now. You can rise up while you practice the rooting down. So growth without roots isn't sustainable. And that is what most people miss, especially with manifestation, especially with like quick fix mentality and like this one weekend is going to give you everything you could possibly need in your whole entire life. The outer rise doesn't mean anything if the inner foundation is shaky. You can manifest the home or the income or the audience or the health, but without energetic safety, it will create stress. It will create sabotage. It will create things not working out. It won't be the expansion, the steadiness, right? Because part of why we want, and I'm going to be talking about this on the path with Rooted and Rich, part of the reason why we want abundance, why we want money, why we want wealth is so that we can just frickin' chill, right? So that we can relax. And that may be traveling and doing stuff, but what I mean is we want safety. We don't want to have to stress and hustle. We don't want to have to worry about buying food for our family or the big things we want to do that we can't afford. That's why we really want money, is so we feel rooted, so we feel safe and secure. So that inner foundation is really what we're seeking anyway. If you guys are into the chakras, like the root chakra energy of safety, security, basic needs, looking after yourself, rest, water, nutrition, nervous system safety. That is our actual root. Like the root chakra is the bottom root that feeds into everything else. So whether you go energetic with the chakras, or you look at a physical tree, or you think of your own self-growth, how can we move forward and expect to just be a leader or healed or healthy without building the roots? Like, obviously, that's why you've been doing the growth work for so long. But it's really time to ground into that even more, as I am. Without inner alignment, our outer success feels disconnected. It doesn't land, it doesn't sustain. Without soul rootedness, you keep chasing your worth through achievement. This is why we talk so much here and with my clients, and what I focus on is energetic alignment. And then we take the strategy, we get the strategy from there. So it's not strategy first, it's energetic alignment. And then depending on what we're doing, if it's business, if it's health, then we look at what would be an aligned strategy. because your outer reality reflects your inner structure. So, to come back into a little bit more physical and tangible as we start to wrap up the episode, rooting isn't passive. It's not just like on a t-shirt, root down to rise up. It truly looks like saying no to what drains you, clearing the clutter, creating rhythms and rituals that ground your day, restoring your nervous system, getting into what it looks like to ride the wave of your nervous system and know how to come back to safety, know how to come back to your calm and peace. It's about getting honest with what you value and grounding into things that are real, cutting out the fluff, calling your energy back home. Rooting may also be using things like sage and Palo Santo and incense, things to clear your field. Grounding your body, spending time with your feet on the earth or in water. It's also tangibly building boundaries in your business, in your life. It's about presence. It's about learning that deep confidence in who you are, not superficially who you are, but like the know thyself. Rooting into what is real, rooting into your body. And on an even deeper level, sometimes when it feels like nothing is moving forward in the way you want, or when you're in a goo phase, in a void season, in the mush, when things feel heavy or unclear, it's really not because you're off track. It's because your soul is rooting you deeper. And maybe you're being asked to go deeper or just asked to practice what you've been learning, but it's not an eternal blocked. It's a soul message saying you're going to need this where you're headed. Into your truth, into your strength, into your faith, into your body. Grounding, chilling, creating space in your life, spending time in nature. Sometimes the biggest expansions come after a season of feeling like nothing is going forward because it's deep underground preparation, right? Or we go into a season of inner child healing or of everything in our deepest, darkest closets feeling like it's coming up emotionally. And we go through it, right? The full moon comes and we go through it. And after that, we breathe, we exhale, we've made space for what's new. So if you're someone who feels, obviously, again, you are, that you're here for big things, that you're here to hold more, that you're here to lead more, that you're here to serve more or receive more, then it's not about more action and more hustle. It's about deeper roots to energetically hold the capacity of where you're going. So your soul has been preparing you for how you know you're meant for big things. You've always known that. So everything you've been doing has been creating these roots. And what you can do now is look at nervous system safety, boundaries, creating a life that sustains you, where you feel safe and secure. And it's maybe not even 100% of the time. Like, we're human, we ebb, we flow, we fluctuate, stuff comes up. But it's a general safety and security. One where you feel safe to expand. You feel safe to rise up. So as I'm saying, you've already been doing so much of the work. And even if there's areas where it doesn't look like it on the surface or you don't feel it, just knowing within yourself that there have been important shifts that have been happening underneath. Rooting is rising. Rooting leads to rising. So I'm going to leave you with a few powerful questions that you can just reflect on. Ask yourself, where am I being invited to slow down and ground more deeply? What am I trying to leap toward without fully anchoring in first? What do I need to put into place to sustain the vision that I'm calling in, the vision of that next level? You don't have to rush. Your timing is perfect. The deeper you root, the higher you rise. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for being on this journey with me. If it spoke to you, I would always love to hear how it lands. You can DM me on Instagram, send an email. There's a bunch of, ways you can contact me below. And if you are curious about one-on-one mentorship, I have a few spots before summer in 2025. I would love to join you in one-on-one work where I channel for you and help you through this journey, let you know what your spirit team is saying while taking you through this healing work, through this nervous system work, personally, one-on-one, or else, of course, you can join on the path. The community is buzzing. I love it over there. It's your portal of ongoing education and meditations and practices so that you always can stay on your path to self-growth and awakening. And the last thing is that retreat. So if you are called to join any of these things I'm talking about, all the links are below, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I genuinely hope that it served you. If you feel like you're in the give and back mood, I would be so honored if you left a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to the podcast. It really does help so much. And if you're looking for books to integrate into your life, to create daily practices, to keep you on your path of self-growth and awakening, you should check out my Amazon store. I've got a few daily practice style books that you can choose from, including Manifest This Shit, which is a coloring and activity book for manifestation. We've got the brand new one called Both Sides, which is a daily practice. And we've also got the bedtime ritual. So you can check out the link for that as well as other things in the show notes below. And I will see you in the next episode.